Welcome to episode 151 of The Endless Stream. I'm Aidan, and this week I am joined by Kevin. We are two artists, illustrators, filmmakers, and all-round shit talkers, and each week we take some of the endless stream of content brought to you through Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Spotify, Amazon Prime. Wherever you get your content, we take a chunk of it, we watch it, and we talk about it. This week, we are talking about a whole bunch of news. There's a trailer for the new Joker movie, but primarily we are looking to talk about Steve Martin's 1991 film, LA Story. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to the podcast, heading over to iTunes, heading over to Spotify, rating, reviewing. All of those good things really help us out. On top of that, you can head over to Instagram at The Endless Cast, where we put up art and clips to go with each episode, and that's a great place to send us a message. We've got our messages open. Comment on the artwork. Tell us you agree, tell us you disagree, tell us something we should watch that we haven't watched. Or you can send us an email at theendlesscast@gmail.com. These are the options. We talk nonsense, and we want you to talk to us. All of that being said, let's get into the episode. Another week, another episode of The Endless Stream. I'm here with Kevin, I'm Aidan, and Brian is not with us today, but he will be back soon, won't he?
If you say so, buddy.
Whoa. You alright, Kev?
Yeah, why?
That's not optimistic for Brian's return.
Well, I just don't believe Brian's going to return to us.
You don't believe that Brian? What did you do to him? What did you do?
Nothing. I'm actually going to see him this weekend.
You're going to... Yeah.
I'm going to the Mave Rave.
What's Mave Rave?
It's invite only. I can't talk about it.
Alright, fine. You have your secrets.
Fine.
Brian and I will go to things and you won't be invited.
I'm okay with that.
But there'll be harrowing things that you won't want to be at.
Because you invite me to stuff all the time that I actively say no to. So it's fine.
You do, yeah. I'm just like, hey, you want to... Okay.
Yeah, couldn't think of worse things to do.
It's rocked my world. I have spent our subsequent days...
Yes.
Working on that Etsy shop. I've got now 18 products on my Etsy shop. I've got like a journal, my Mandalorian illustration on it, and I've got a sticker with my Mandalorian illustration on it.
Awesome.
And I've got a t-shirt with my Mandalorian illustration on it, and now I've got the templated products to put things on journals, t-shirts, and stickers. So I will now put more things on journals, t-shirts, and stickers.
Nice.
And I will continue to put work into things that continue to yield no benefit for me, but passes the time, buddy. Passes the time.
Okay.
How has your week been?
Good. What have I done? It's crazy because last week when you asked me what was I doing this week, and I said no. That feels like it wasn't that long ago.
You didn't say no, you said nothing.
That doesn't feel like that long ago. But then, it's a whole long time ago because here we are at the end of the week basically. What did I do? I drew a ton of tattoo flash.
Oh yeah.
Between tattoos in the studio. I've had a busy week in the studio. Next week is shaping up to be really busy, and the week after is quite busy. So hectic couple of weeks in work, but that is what I like to see. Long may it continue, long may it last. But what did I do? Nothing much. I did a tattoo of a character from Critical Role. It's a little kind of bat-like bird character.
Bat-like bird character?
Yep. I did a tattoo of the staff of Moses. A snake wrapped around the staff, I believe.
Okay.
And then that's what the inspiration was from. It's not necessarily the rod of what's it? Aphelios or something? The medical thing?
Asclepius.
Asclepius. Yeah, I knew you'd know.
Asclepius. Yeah. I might be saying it wrong, but I'm hitting the correct letters.
I didn't watch much this week because it's been a lot of late nights and home late and different things. And then yesterday I got to do a portrait for a customer of mine, of his parents, and I've tattooed his mum as well, so it was fun to do that. And then today I have 2 more portraits lined up. That's pretty much my week, buddy. I bought some comics yesterday. I didn't get to read them yet. I've been hemming and hawing for ages about getting the X-Men 1992 comic that continued from the series. It kind of, you know, I don't know if it bridges the gap between A and B, like, you know, 92, 97. But it's no, I think it's a more contemporary comic. I think it came out like kind of maybe 10 years ago.
Right. Okay. So this was designed to be a continuation.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I haven't, like I said, I haven't read it, and I don't know when I'll get around to reading it, because there's a few bits and bobs I want to read first, and I'm still very much enjoying my Wonder Man book. But we had a Joker trailer. I actually realised, because when the trailer got released, I was like, oh, I should post some relevant tattoos, you know, stay in the old pop culture bubble that is moving fastly and constantly changing and trying to stay relevant. So I've done 3 Joker tattoos.
Historically, you have done 3 Joker tattoos, or did you design some Joker tattoos ahead of the release of this trailer?
Historically, I've done 3 Joker tattoos.
Right.
Yeah, he's a great character. But
visually interesting for sure.
And I think that anybody who got the tattoo of him, I think they just more like the visual representation of him in the movie and what the character meant to them. You know, because it's more like a realistic representation, so they're more comfortable to get something like that on them, as opposed to say like, I'd imagine most of them biggest point of reference would be Mark Hamill's Joker. Do you know what I mean?
God, we've come a long way from Jokers, huh?
And the movies, yeah.
Mark Hamill's wouldn't be the one I go to.
Mark Hamill's my one. Maybe that's me projecting.
Interesting. Trying to think what the truth of that is, because I've got I've such movie brain.
Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy are the definitive Batman Joker for me, and that's just they were the most informed. That was like, because obviously just at the time, but they also held up.
Yeah. So for me, Jokers growing up was Jack Nicholson. Nothing could hold a candle to Jack.
Sure. But
that was the best Joker. That's the fucking Joker. And beyond that, it was Adam West's Cesar Romero Joker.
Oh, interesting.
Like, that's the Joker. That is the Joker. Now, there's cartoons and shit.
You can tell there's 20 years between us now, to be fair.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, as a 60-year-old man...
I'm not 36. I'm not 36, you piece of shit. What are you talking about? As a 56-year-old man.
What age are you?
36.
Okay.
You think I was 40?
I mean...
You're 40 next year, right?
No.
You're 40 this year?
I'm 62. I'm 62 years old. I look great for 62. Gasp! So when I think Joker, I think Jack Nicholson being scared as a kid, and I think Cesar Romero, and I have like a residing image of being on the couch watching Batman surf and the Joker on a surfboard in I think yellow. Batman was in yellow shorts. What color shorts was the Joker in? But they were wearing shorts over their suits.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I said he put it in purple, but no, I'm only joking.
I think they picked a color to contrast with the suit he was wearing. Fair. You know, so he's wearing the purple. So they might be green. But so we've come a long way, Joker wise. Yeah. That Hamill became the default, and that Heath Ledger. I just remember Barry Keoghan. Barry Keoghan Joker. Do you not remember? Do you not remember Barry Keoghan Joker?
Yeah. Does that?
Do you not remember?
Does that bother you?
I'm afraid that they're going to use him in any way going forward. I'm afraid that he's going to get a larger role as Joker. I would like that to be a footnote that Barry looks back on and goes, "Oh yeah, no, that could have been fun." But in reality, what's happening is he fucked it up.
Barry fucked with the Joker?
No, I don't necessarily say Barry specifically, but the production design, the team, the world, whatever they landed on that led to that decision for a Joker, get fucked. I don't want to see any more of that.
Interesting.
What, you like that scene?
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I thought it was.
I'll fight you.
I thought it was the best part of the movie, and it wasn't even in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah.
You thought that was the best part of
the
that
movie,
movie, and it wasn't even in the movie. Not even the moment when the fucking car roars to life.
No, it's the only part of the movie that gave me chills. The movie was so fucking sedated.
Right. Look, I'm not going to go over the top to defend that movie.
No, I wouldn't wind you up. I like the movie, but I actually did think that scene was kind of cool.
No, well, you just said I'm only winding you up. / I reinforced my previous statements.
No, I mean because I alluded that the movie was shit, and that was the only good part of the movie. I enjoyed the movie very much so, but I actually did enjoy that scene.
Yeah, I mean,
the only reason you didn't like Barry Keoghan's scene in the Joker's is because it's like it hit a nerve with you. It's like, oh, he's trying to be edgy, like I'm edgy, and I don't like that.
No, it's just crap. It's just I'd have to watch it again, but like the makeup, I just thought it looked like fucking Comic-Con style slathered on fucking plastic.
It did get criticized for kind of being like
it's no good.
It did get criticized for kind of just kind of like villainizing scars and facial deformities, if you get me.
Yeah, I'm not going on. People can fuck off. Like, okay, historically the Joker didn't have scars like that, but also a version of the Joker with scars like that's fucking fine. Get over it. Fucking grow up, muscle up, fucking toughen up. Give your balls a tug, as they say in that show that I like.
I don't agree with anything Aidan says.
We're in a contentious morning. Joker trailer, Folie à Deux.
So I think it looks class.
It's a good trailer. There's no arguing with it. There's a lot of like cinematic reference at play in the same way that he was cribbing a lot of Scorsese the first time around. People pointed out the sort of the Umbrellas of Cherbourg reference, the sort of like bright, colourful. But you can't argue with the trailer. Like it like the problem. We've touched on this in the past. The problem with the Joker is not the cinematography, is not the editing, is not the performances, is not the cast, is not anything about it that makes it a great film. Like, there's a lot about it that makes it a great film, but the heart and ethos of that film is dog shit. Like like I saw there's a I think it's a letterboxed review of the Joker that went, if you've never seen the ocean, a puddle seems deep.
Oh my god.
Just, like, I don't like that movie. I don't like what it's saying. I don't like the angle it takes on it as like an antithesis to Batman. It can get fucked, and the people that love it can suck my dick.
So actually,
it can get fucked, and the people that love it need to re-examine.
But so I love the movie, and I thought it was good. However, when I came out of the cinema, I instantly knew that I was like, oh, that's going to draw a problematic crowd. Like, I can sit there and I can enjoy the movie and I can be like, that's an interesting narrative on someone who is incredibly unhinged, unable to live in society, sure, they're a victim of stuff, but it doesn't mean like kind of like, it's like the same way Ted Bundy is or bloody John Wayne Gacy. You know what I mean? Like, just because they feel like they've been somehow hard done by society or whatever doesn't justify their actions, you know? And like, it is a story about a very unhinged villain, you know? Like, no,
it's a story about how
society,
like, I never stand by any interpretation. Today, my interpretation of the movie, it's a story about how the well-off are assholes and the mentally ill should just be violent, and how the world is just shitty, and then it celebrates and finds joy in riotous
chaos,
murder.
Yeah,
and
that's
chaos.
What I'm saying. Like, and kind of like, I can watch it as a story of a villain, but it's just like, and you know, and like, obviously, if he's the protagonist of the movie, they're going to try and make you empathize or relate or something. But like I enjoyed it in the moment, but afterwards, like my initial reaction was just like, "Oh, that's gonna draw a bad crowd."
See, I think even if I go back and watch Taxi Driver,
Yeah,
which this movie is cribbing a lot
yes,
from,
like 90% of it.
there are people doing bad things in it,
Yeah, Taxi Driver is bleak.
but they're not. I don't feel like they're cartoon fucking psychopaths. I feel like they're doing what they need to do to survive being bad people or doing bad things.
I know this is
Whereas there's people we encounter in Joker who are just like, why is this guy stamping on someone else's head? Why are these people being monstrous? Like, these are just like...
But I think, like, you know...
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I think it's kind of like just a case of, you know, like, that I kind of, I'm hesitant to say this, but like, it's a, you know, it's okay if they're cartoon crazy and cartoon bad. Like, you know, it's based on a, you know, a very extreme comic book character. Like, it shouldn't be rooted too much in reality. It's okay if you kind of make it more ridiculous and over the top.
I think that kind of logic works if we are talking about children's entertainment and fantasy.
But like, can you not like have...
This is very interesting. I'm sitting here with a craft knife, just gently pushing the blade against my cheek, because, I don't know, that's what I do. If it were a pen, it would be a pen. Yeah. But I tend towards sharp objects, and it always freaks Kev out. And I just noticed he's just, like, gently rubbing a makeup brush along his face.
It's Emer's makeup brush, and it feels nice.
Is it Emer's makeup brush? There's no shame in it, Kevin. You want to look your best.
If it was my makeup brush, I wouldn't mind saying that.
It is your makeup brush. Okay. Anyway.
So incredible looking. But anyways, it's mood. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. Say what you want to say. I know what you're saying about X, Y, and Z. I don't really care. You're wrong. Meh. Next question. Oof. No.
So you're excited for the sequel?
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I think all the people crying out is music and all that kind of stuff. Just cuteness. Just watch the fucking thing. You know.
I love a musical.
Me too. I love one more than you.
Wow. I love a musical. I just have no faith in Todd Phillips. I have no faith that even if I watch it and I enjoy sections of it and I like performance from it, I have no faith that the moral of the story or the heart that is being, the message that I'm being sold by the director, the man behind it, isn't going to be objectionable.
We'll
so,
see, I guess.
How do I deal with that? We'll see. Okay, yeah, that's a fair way to go. Yeah, we'll see. All right.
Yeah.
Stop talking.
That's how you deal with it. But
okay, looking at the trailer, what do you think? Do you think the musical segments are in a Chicago style hyperreal things that are happening in their brains while they real world chaos? Did you ever see Chicago?
Yes, I have. I'm aware of it, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, like it's kind of like the breakout in song and dance in.
Yeah, in Chicago, there's a real world crime and murder trial going on, but she's sort of seeing or envisioning these musical versions or interpretations of what's happening in a very normal way.
But yes, that makes sense? Yes. Yeah, and I reckon that'll be it, yeah. I think I don't really know people's general opinion about Lady Gaga doing Harley Quinn.
She'll be great.
I think it's great. I think she's perfect for it. The second I said it, I was just like, yeah, no, that adds up. That, you know, she's perfect for Harley. She looks like Harley Quinn. She's pretty much how I'd imagine Harley in the comics, sort of, you know, she embodies that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting the way Harley has developed and comic book characters always develop. You know, like psychiatric nurse. Oh, Olympic level gymnast.
I know, yeah. Well,
Olympic level super gymnast that can propel herself 100 feet in the air.
I know. It's just a part of me is just like, you know what? Just don't worry about it. Don't justify it.
Yeah.
Just move on. Don't try and validate it, because you're trying to shoehorn in some sort of narrative that at some stage between being like trying to be a psychologist or whatever, she was also able to kind of perform at an Olympic level, you know.
Yeah. No, I like, I just to go back to your earlier point and just to reiterate it, it's like, if it's based on a comic book and we want to let it off on childishness and silly comic book loopholes and just go, we can dismiss any thought behind it because it's just a comic book movie, then you can't go around touting about its, you know, its intellectual fucking prowess. You can't go around talking about its performance. You can't talk about, like, this is the thing, it takes itself very seriously and it takes its message very seriously.
Okay.
And if it does that, then we can't just dismiss the nihilist shittiness of it. It's not even nihilist, it's just shit.
I think whatever point I was trying to make earlier about it kind of being based on a comic, I meant like kind of, we know comics, I'm not necessarily implying they're childish or anything like that, I love comics, but we know comics are wild, like they're over the top, they're crazy, all that kind of stuff. Like, and I think if you're adapting something like that, you kind of, you know, you're going to embrace an element of that, you're going to try and achieve that over the topness and craziness, but on how do you transfer that to the screen and all that kind of stuff, you know. But
but if you're layering in moralizing, that shit needs to be thought through.
But
that's my take on Joker Folie à Deux. I was very happy to see the, like, big music, nice aesthetic, really nice cut trailer. The graphic design on it. Graphic design and like branding of a film can make a huge fucking difference. You know, some films just look like nothing because there's no whole vibe to it.
Yeah. Fair. Gotta have a voice before you have a voice. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to go see it in the cinema. There's no doubt. I'm sure it's going to be one of the hits of the year. The other hit of the year being potentially Deadpool and Wolverine.
When's Deadpool out? July, is
July, I think. And then Joker's out in fall. But we got a tape trailer for Deadpool. Yeah, I was going to say, someone posted in the group chat some promotional stuff with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh yeah, the poster art stuff.
Yeah, I know you and Brian hate it.
Hate it.
I'll wait till it comes out to really kind of pass judgment on how the costume looks or comes. Or sorry, I'll wait till it comes out and pass judgment. About how the costume looks or whatever.
Costume's going to look fine. Costume's going to look fine. It's going to be lit well. He's going to be moving around in a costume. We're not even going to think twice about it. But if you're putting out a poster that is that airbrushed and arted and like filtered and rendered, like it's photoshopped to fuck to the point that those are illustrations.
I'd agree that the poster in terms of in terms of those things looks shit. It's so overly rendered. It's wild. But I like the look of the costume and everything. Oh, and they obviously used, I've just realised, they're using that costume that he's wearing in the movie, I think, in the new comics. They're going to use it in the new comics.
Of course they are.
I think.
Tying shit in.
It looks like that, but I could be wrong. You know,
I'm still excited for it.
I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. They've announced a new X-Force book. It's going to come out this year. It's going to be a team led by Forge, featuring I think Betsy Braddock and a few other characters and stuff. And it's going to be, I believe, like kind of like a task force that kind of has a mission each issue or something, and would have a rotating guest appearance. Rotating guest appearance, and it's going to have the first issue is going to be Deadpool. But I think that sounds like back to basics, fun X-Men book. You know, just different missions, different like a different person joining this team every issue, and you know, led by Forge, which is fun. But it's like, yeah, that sounds like a good concept, and I'm into it.
Cool.
And they're obviously, you know, pushing Deadpool because it'll come out around that time, and then Deadpool and Wolverine will be in the cinemas, so all that jazz.
Yeah. I want to. I was looking through the old comic book shelves here. There's a book on the wall in Sub City that I've been like eyeing. It's like, will I buy it? Won't I buy it? Type of thing. And I was like, why have I got such an affinity for this? Because I've got a printed poster of it that I had on my wall as a kid. It's X-Men: The Last Stand. It's Cyclops with his back against a wall. And I've got a photocopy of the cover. And it was a photocopy. And I realized why it's such an affinity of it. I was going through the shelves and I was like, I have a copy of it. And that's where I got the fucking poster from. But the copy is one of the ones that got like pulled out of a skip when I was 10 years old, and it is in tatters. It is like the cover's there, but it's not stapled to the book anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like the staples have gone off it. So I'm still like, I might mile bag that and get a good copy. This is me feeling ways about comics, but I also are you buy comics a lot at this point still?
Yeah, fair bit.
I was going to go. Are you much of a stuff consumer? I don't buy things much anymore.
Outside of comics, I don't really buy anything else except for art supplies.
Yeah, everything I sort of buy ends up being something sort of work or project or activity related. Do you know? You get a bunch of stuff as gifts and things, which is very nice of people giving you gifts. But I don't buy. Do I buy a whole lot of? I don't buy because when you're a kid, or when you're a youth, you know, it's like action figures and fucking plastic tchotchkes and comic books.
I don't do that stuff now, to be honest. I don't even want to kind of. I for years I did. I collected all of the Marvel Legends throughout my childhood and teens, and I did that for a long time. Probably up until I probably did that for about maybe like the bulk of 10 years. And I did it when I think it was Toy Biz are still making them, but I can't collect that stuff anymore, man.
No, you don't have the space.
No, but I don't.
One does not have the space.
The thing is, like, I could potentially get one or two little bits or pieces that could be like, you know, really personal to me.
Display pieces, yeah.
Just super personal to me, and I kind of like, I get them, like, but in terms of buying new stuff and like, you know, and I sometimes I think like, oh, it'd be cool to have that set, but it's just like, but I just don't want to go down that road, you know?
Yeah. I kind of did it with like, I don't think I was thinking this through, but it kind of like full stop my need for plastic shit. Like, I liked the Disney Infinity figures.
I was just gonna say, I know you got them, but they were so cool. Interpretation of the characters and anatomy and shape and everything was so cool.
There's just lovely
sculpts,
design work in them, and they discontinued them. And the minute they discontinued them, I wasn't going to pay 10 quid for each of them or whatever, but they discontinued them, and I was like, I kind of liked those. There's going to be, I saw there's going to be a fucking sine wave curve of like them dropping off to not being worth a fucking thing, and then people finding them collectible and wanting them.
Yeah.
And I went on Dundeal and I found some parent that just wanted plastic shit out of their house, and I bought 40 of them for 50 quid or something.
Yes.
And now when I look up, it's like I got Thor, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, but the range of them was so good that it's like there's Kylo Ren, there's Luke Skywalker, there's Han Solo, there's the Lone Ranger for some reason. Like it kind of like crosses my need for like representation of my nerd.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like,
there's a good assortment of them.
Now I tell you what would be mad would be get a 3D printer and start making versions of them.
Oh, dude, don't. To be honest, some of the stuff.
Because I even as I said, I was like, I'd love a Constantine one.
Yeah, I know. Like, but that's the thing. Like, I saw some guy like there's people on Etsy selling like, you know, they have a 3D printer. They print off all these like big Marvel statues and sell them for like hundreds and stuff. You know.
Yeah. That's I kind of lost interest in the superhero sculpt.
Yeah.
Once 3D printing became a thing. Because like I follow some cool like art accounts and stuff, and you see stuff on Instagram and it's like, what an amazing statue. What a beautiful statue, what a beautiful sculpt. And it's like, and here are the head variations and the arm variations. It's like, okay, well now that it's 3D,
I know, yeah.
you just make a dozen versions of it and then like mold and pour, and it's like I know how much skill and time and effort goes into them.
Yeah.
But like I remember back in the day looking at somebody like on DeviantArt hand sculpting this wax sculpt of Obi-Wan Kenobi in the desert. His Jedi robes kind of battered down. He has an old blaster. He's got a backpack. He's got a tattered cape. But you watched him sculpt it by hand with just... And now it's so perfectly executed. It's just like, I don't care.
I know, yeah.
Like Crow Corner, where the third place used to be.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I have
so Crow
tons
Street.
and tons and tons of stuff from there. I have a ton of horror toys, and they did some.
Yeah, you remember Crow Corner?
Yeah, Christie in there,
where it's like shoes and clothes now. But there was like there would be statues in that window, and it was like some Irish model maker was like making them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they were a bit skewy in places, but you knew that it was like...
Yeah, it was Frankenstein, it was a Rocketeer, it was whoever.
Yeah, it was somebody specifically making them because they thought these were cool. Like, it was a...
Yeah, I actually saw Christie...
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I saw the fella who used to own the shop the other day, Christie, I believe his name was. I haven't seen him in the donkeys now. He was at where? I don't know where I saw him.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's still around town somewhere. I think he has a shop somewhere. But, yeah, like I'm not gonna get that. It's comics is what I'm about. If I'm gonna spend X amount on something, it's gonna be kind of like on a book or on a piece of art.
Right. Yeah, that's the fucking the art thing. Sometimes is the dangerous one, but I don't have the money either. Like I keep going back to, there was a few years back I saw a piece for about $3,500. I think. $3,500, maybe $5,000, somewhere in that region, and it was like, that would have been like half of all the money I owned in the world. You know what I mean? To buy a piece of art, but it was a Drew Struzan illustration of Wonder Woman, and like it was prep work. It wasn't a finished poster or anything. It was just like a thumbnail concept. But it's like I think I saw it subsequently on sale for $10. You know, and it's just like, I don't know. You want money?
I want money. I would love money.
I want money.
If you like money and would like to send us money, you can reveal either Aidan or I on
on pay me my money.
Shout out to one of our listeners.
Oh yeah,
who got in touch with us last week. I believe we got an email from Mr. Bruce.
That was Chris.
Was it? Damn it! That was hilarious.
No, the moment I saw it, I was just like, I hope that's not really that person, because I don't like to shame anybody for their things. Even as I was just like, this made me uncomfortable, I was like, I don't actually want to shame anybody. But also...
but it was funny.
But it was clearly a like Bruce at mustachelover.com or something, and it was like, well, that's very you can make an email pretty quick and easy.
But shout out to Chris for doing that, because that was hilarious. It made me laugh so much.
Christief.
Pardon?
I'm calling it Christief.
Yes, Christief.
It's mischief the Chris did. It's
Christief this week in the Christief section. It was hilarious, and that made me laugh so much.
What will Chris get up to this month?
But yeah, for those who don't know, Aidan had mentioned to somebody who he believed might have been too enthusiastic about a Twitch stream he did several years ago, and had made an off-the-cuff joke about it. And then one of our friends, Chris, made an email account, emailing us saying that he's still cranking it to Aidan's mustache. I'm sorry it's not real, but we will continue to do better. Okay. We watched this week.
Well, hold on.
Hold on.
I was going to say...
Just keep in mind, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I know. You were the one that was late.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. No, I know, but it's like job over everything else. Go on.
Sure. This is the job.
Fuck off. My friendship is the job, yes.
Have you any interest in seeing Civil War?
Oh, no, so someone told me about this. I have no idea, man. I have no idea what it's about. Go on. What's it about?
It's about a civil war breaking out in the United States.
But historically, as in like the Civil War.
No, this is hypothetically next year a fucking civil war breaks out in the United States, and it's Texas and California secede, which is I've seen like people sort of saying, politically these two states aren't aligned with one another, but there is an element of the fact that like Texas sees itself as separate to the United States in some ways, and also so does California.
Yeah.
So you can see how the two of them might withdraw and sort of.
But also, why don't they just acknowledge the fact that it's a massive continent, that each state is essentially a different country, and just get over each other?
Well, when you say why don't they acknowledge that, what do you mean?
Well, they have the federal law and they have state law. So one thing would be illegal in one state and then not illegal in another state, as if they're different countries, Sure.
So federally, state by state, marijuana was decriminalized. Yes. So you could sell weed in California, but federally it was illegal, and the banks were controlled federally. So these weed shops in California were not allowed to put their weed profit into a federal bank, because as far as the federal system is concerned, they were the profits of criminality, which was crazy. But what's your point? Like they can't.
No, what I'm trying to say is like they go on like they're like one big country, but it's just like you have different laws in different states, like.
Yes, but they are a union that needs
States
to work together.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. I know how it works. You know what I'm saying. I'm just saying shit. I'm just shooting the breeze. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. So like when you watch, like even watching the trailer for this film and seeing sort of like depictions of how America might splinter and turn on itself, and you've got a government with a military attacking sort of militia forces that have segregated themselves. It's kind of scary manifestation, isn't it? As we go into a Trump election year.
Yeah, like kind of. I guess. Like kind of. So basically, what is the Civil War over? California and Texas want to separate from the states, is it?
Okay, give me a moment, because like all I've seen is the trailer, but I haven't seen the instigating factor.
Who's in it?
Civil War is a British-American 2024 dystopian film written and directed by Alex Garland. The film stars Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Kaylee Spinney, Stephen McKinley Henderson, and Nick Offerman. Its plot follows a team of journalists who travel across the United States during a rapidly escalating Second American Civil War, which has engulfed the nation. In the near future, a multi-party civil war engulfs all the United States, which has become a dystopian dictatorship under its president, who is currently in his third term. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit, what do you call it? It's a little bit like, oh, is that foreshadowing? Like, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, because part of the thing is that, like, we see a movie like this and think of it as fantasy. And we say the American government, like, is never going to enter a dystopian situation because, of course, they've got, term limits on their presidents. You know, you can't be. But we've seen
presidents overthrow that and being like, "Fuck that, I'm staying here."
We've seen, Putin ended his term and then disappeared and became a puppet master for a little bit, and then changed some laws and is he president again?
Well, he's leader.
Like the systems change swiftly, and just because it has been a certain way for a little while, like I'm pretty sure. American presidential term limits only came in the mid-20th century.
Oh, really?
Let me just double check that. Yeah, okay. George Washington declined to run after 2 terms. He declared 2 terms are enough for any president. So the 22nd Amendment took effect in 1951.
Yeah, fair.
Right? So this is the thing. Like, people are like, Trump could never be president. You're only allowed to be president or never be president for a 3rd term. You're only allowed to be president for 2 terms. And Franklin Roosevelt was president for 13 years.
Oh, was he? Fuck off. That's like 4 terms.
This is the thing.
Or 3 terms.
Three and a bit. Yeah, this only took effect in
1950,
1951. This is what I'm saying. Roosevelt was president from 1933 to 1945. And so, yeah, they could change this in a fucking drop of a hat. So you have any interest in that?
I won't go to the cinema to watch it, but I like Kirsten Dunst and I like Nick Offerman.
Okay, here's a question then. As a filmmaker, have you gone to cinema to see any Alex Garland movies?
What else have they done?
As a director? Ex Machina?
I've not seen it, but I heard good things.
Annihilation?
It was alright.
Men?
I did not like it.
Devs?
I've heard good
I
things.
think Brian was telling me to watch Devs. As a writer, though, The Beach,
Didn't
28 Days
That's very
Later,
good.
Sunshine, TV miniseries Batman Black and White. He must have written one episode. Dread,
the movie. That's
yeah,
good.
Ex Machina, Annihilation. Yeah, I mean, he's made good films, dude. I'm just wondering, like, he falls into a category. The reason I face this is, like, I've seen a bunch of his stuff, but I don't think I've ever got off and gone to the cinema to see something.
Yeah, like none of those movies are particularly like super stand out to me. Is Men the one that came out there like maybe 3 years ago or something, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And it's very, very surreal and
Yes, Jesse Buckley, Rory Kinnear, Papa Esidu, Gail Rankin.
I think it's like the A24 one or something. That's an awful movie. It's brutal now. In fairness, there's some stuff in it. Like there's some aspects of it that I thought were good and was interesting scenes and stuff. But that's more the kind of like her relationship with her boyfriend that's in the past. It was kind of some pretty dark stuff, but it gets real. Like it's really hard to watch. Like it's not an like, you know, as far as horrors go. Like, you know, some horrors are enjoyable to watch. You know, they do their job. They're great and stuff. This is just. Oh, it's so hard. Like I think Emer watched it with some of her friends, and they hated it, you know. And they warned me not to watch it. They were like, you know, stay away from it, Kev. It's awful. But I was kind of intrigued, and oh god, it wasn't great. It's awful. I liked the trailer. I thought like this looked wild, you know, but no.
Yeah, I think he makes it like a mid-budget, mid-received.
But this is not an action movie.
Standout.
It's not an action movie.
Civil War? I don't know. There's definitely shooting and running and chasing around the place, but like that doesn't necessarily, like, in the same way that, like, you know, you mentioned Children of Men. You know, there's shooting and running around and scary tension and stuff, but I wouldn't say Children of Men is an action movie.
I know, but like when you say Civil War, it's, at least in my head, it implies like when they say Civil War and they say it's like it's a movie about a civil war.
I think of Glory with Denzel Washington and soldiers marching.
Well, no, yeah, well that for sure, you know. But I was thinking of and then when you say it's
The Wind That Shakes the Barley.
No, yeah, just let me finish a fucking sentence.
Not the Irish Civil War. Okay.
Like you know, when you say Civil War, of course, immediately you think of like the American Civil War to abolish slavery and stuff. But then when you say, oh no, it's set in today's.
Think of Captain America Civil War.
No, just let me talk.
I am.
I'm gonna go after this. You wasted my morning.
No, you're not.
So you did, and then. So yeah, I think of like then you tell me it's like set more contemporary time. I just picture it must be something like Black. You know, what was that one White House Down or something like that? That's kind of what I just picture. Like I kind of just like Washington is overrun. People are running around with like fucking assault rifles and you know whatever.
Yeah, fucking weekend warriors in their fucking in their Kevlar in their battle vests.
That's kind of what I picture.
Yeah, well, if you drive a fucking country into a militaristic fury for fucking 40 years, eventually they be... Anyway, look, I think, you know, it looks interesting, and I also hate that it manifests...
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Manifests this into reality.
Stop.
Or I fear that it manifests this into reality. On a lighter note, though, we watched... we were looking for something to watch, and you very cannily suggested a movie that made me go, fuck it, let's just watch all of his movies and talk about them sequentially, because I'd do that. Do you want to do that? Do you want to watch some of them?
watching all of Steve Martin's movies, that would be an undertaking. But I'm not opposed to it. But it's just something I don't know if I can commit to.
I mean, I'm not talking about like a Daredevil style sit down where we binge all of Steve Martin's films, but I'm just saying over time, we could watch some of Steve Martin's films.
I definitely,
and we could talk about them because they're good.
They're good.
Because we're always looking for, picking the next thing to watch, and revisiting some of their work isn't a terrible idea. Like here's one that sits in the pool of mediocrity. Did you ever watch Sergeant Bilko?
Sergeant Bilko, I know it, but I don't know.
Well, I that's mid-90s, but also it's part of Martin's sort of remake or searching for a kind of franchisey thing, like when he started making those Pink Panther movies. It's like, why are we doing cover movies? Why isn't he just doing Steve Martin things? Why is he doing these cover movies? I guess because they make money. But like Sergeant Bilko was a character played by Phil Silvers in the 1950s and 60s, and they then, like, I used to watch that sitcom on, I think it was on BBC Two in the middle of the afternoon. As a kid, I used to watch it. And then they made a movie of it, and I was like, this is weird. This is Sergeant Bilko, for you if you've never seen it. Top Cat. Top Cat is based on Sergeant Bilko. Like it's just this like hustler type trying to make a buck, trying to shortcut the system, trying to do a get rich quick scheme, and people are always trying to catch him out. And he's got his little crew. Top Cat is Sergeant Bilko.
But it was him on base, wasn't it, the entire time?
Yeah, in and around.
But I'm just trying to remember.
It'd be an interesting one to go and watch. Okay. If you're at all inclined, I think that would be a fun one for next week. But then that's it. Sergeant Bilko next week. Cool. What I would do also is I will throw you like a 30-minute episode of the Phil Silvers show and let you see what it was.
Pick a good one.
Cool. They're all brilliant.
But so this week.
But we watched LA Story.
Yes, 1991 Steve Martin, LA Story.
See if you can hear Kevin start to go, I'm going to need to go to work in 30 to 40 minutes.
30 to 40 minutes.
As he tries.
10 to 15.
Well, you said 11, right? Oh, really?
I thought
it was still 11.
I have to work at 11.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay, we're fucked.
Yeah. But we've got about an hour.
Yeah. Okay. LA Story.
So I thought it was excellent.
Had you ever seen it?
Yes, I have, right? So this is what I was actually going to say. I definitely have seen this before. And I think I watched it when I was really, really young. And because there was a part of me that just remembered all of a sudden, it just like, it hit me like a fucking ton of bricks. Where it's just like, hang on. Holy shit. It's like, I just had a piece of my brain reactivated. And I was like, I totally remember somewhere either seeing the trailer and being really...
It's the highway song.
Exactly. I like seeing the trailer and being really enamored by it. Or I was watching it as a kid and being really enamored by it, But I definitely think, because I like Steve Martin and I probably I liked him as a kid, But I definitely think I probably saw like a trailer somewhere. And the way in America they're like, back in the day their trailers are real like, in the city.
Meet Jim.
Yeah, meet Jim. Exactly, And it was just like, I thought like Steve Martin talking sign, that looks excellent. That completely captivated my imagination. If I hadn't, I don't know if I'd seen it but I can totally kind of like remember it like really capturing my imagination. But yeah, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, oh fuck, I know this one. Yeah. It's great.
And were you going into it going, I don't think I know this? Or I don't think I've seen this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like it's just trying to pull up the IMDb on it at the same time. Like, it's a great cast. There's everybody you can think of in it.
It's a wild cast.
Well, sorry, of that era. It's a wild cast, yeah. I mean, Richard E. Grant is there. Patrick Stewart is there. This is 1991.
Chevy Chase, Woody Harrelson.
So Star Trek would have been a hit from 89. Yeah. Kevin Pollak. Larry Miller, he's funny.
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis?
Rick
Moranis. Where's he in it?
He was a gravedigger, bro.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot about the Gravedigger. The fucking like that movie is so. There's a thin plot. It's a very thin plot of a guy in a relationship he doesn't want to be in, doesn't like his job, meets a new woman, his relationship ends. He looks at a younger woman. He starts seeing this younger woman. He starts seeing, and he just ends up with, what's her name? Sarah.
Sarah, yes, it was his wife in reality.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was in 2 movies with her.
Okay. It's a thin, very simple love story. Guy getting out and ending up with this woman.
Yeah.
And had this relationship.
And definitely.
But
sorry, go on.
No, what I was going to say is what makes it fun is everything that's layered on top of it in terms of the magical realism, in terms of the
commentary on
the slapstick comedy, the commentary on LA, exactly.
Yeah. The layers of Shakespeare and all that kind of stuff, and like the reinterpretations of some aspects of Shakespeare, plays or whatever, but I was watching it with Emer last night, and then kind of some stuff was happening. It was kind of weird, and then I just paused and was like, oh, I think I kind of get what's going on here, in the sense of just like, this is just really like exaggerating and like kind of putting a microphone and exaggerating so much of American culture and kind of how ridiculous it is, the scene where they're in like LA and they just start like, obviously they're saying road rage is an issue and that people are very hot-headed, but they're like they're just like, what day is it? First of spring, and they're like, oh shit, and they all just start pulling out guns and shooting at each other on the highway, and the terms of like LA culture with like the restaurant they go to is called Le Idiot. And like kind of, they treat people like shit. Even at the end when they ask everybody who wants some coffee, and they all have the most obnoxious requests for coffee and stuff, and then Steve Martin adds he wants a twist of lemon, and everybody says they want the lemon. Even somebody who didn't order coffee asked for a twist of lemon. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's a good commentary and stuff.
It's yeah, and like, but it's not. Martin talks about the fact that like he's an LA or a California guy, and he wanted to parody or spoof LA, but from a place of love rather than like hating on it, So it's very romantic about like there's that moment where she as a journalist is saying, these people live weird lives, but they're honest about it and they've no shame about it, and they're just like, this is their life. This is the way they fucking are, and it's not a big fucking thing. Sarah Jessica Parker is 20 something in this movie, and like it's like right around Hocus Pocus era. Yeah,
so apparently Sarah, up until this point, Sarah Jessica Parker was more typecast as a bit of a shrew or a mousy type girl and all this kind of stuff, and it was the first time she felt that she was cast in a role that kind of she got to kind of like say display her,
be the sexy,
if for lack of a better word, and she said that really changed her career path.
Desired,
but
that's it.
But she was 26 at the time of filming, and I believe he was 46. So there was 20 years, just like us, between them.
Right,
but
it took a man in his 40s to objectify the 26-year-old.
Yeah. But her character is quite funny in it, because he says something, she's just like, share. And he's just like, share, okay. You know what I mean? Like, but
she's pretty funny. She's so funny. She's this constant ball of energy. She's a good contrast in terms of the like there's that line where he's going, why didn't you tell me you just got out of a long-term relationship? And he goes, what do you mean I just got out of a long-term relationship? And he goes, men always date somebody significantly younger than them when they get out of a long-term relationship. And she's like doing cartwheels going, look at me, like a child in the background.
It's so funny, like, and even when she's like, I have a boyfriend too, but we're in like an open relationship. And it's like, oh no, like, how's that going for you? Well, I'm pretty successful. He's very sad. Which is so funny.
There's that moment as well where he's like debating going away with her, and he's like, all right, but I don't think we should make love, and she's like, grand, we'll just have sex.
Some of the lines in it and the dialogue are so weird, but
there's beautiful. I bust my hole for 'tis the parlance of our time when he goes to pick Sarah up from the date, and she's playing her tuba.
Yes.
And she's playing whatever she's playing on the other side of the door, and you just hear bum 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 bum, and the knock on the door, and it stops, and she gets up and she comes to the door, and she's kind of like stony staring, and he's like, "You play the tuba?" And he goes, "No, I don't." "Well, I did. Well, I was before you got here. Hold on, I gotta go do something." And he goes, "Womp womp." I had forgotten that bit entirely, and when that shave and a haircut happened, I was like, "Oh my god, they can't leave that unresolved, right? They're gonna have to." She goes, "I gotta do something." Wah, wah.
I know, it's good fun. And the sign was gas.
Gold. The sign was so funny. The sign was such a weird narrative device. As it got to the end of it, like, I've seen more films, I've thought about more films. It made me, like, I haven't seen this movie in years, but like, it made me go, "Oh, this is a Frank Capra movie. This is an It's a Wonderful Life kind of scenario. This is a beautiful, just sweet, like, silly, surreal, kind of like, magical element."
At the time, it was probably done to more of like a LA commentary type of, like, as in, like, let's make this like now and kind of not edgy, but you know what I mean. Like, let's, like, you know, it is wholesome. But I think it was done like in the 90s. It would have been perceived as a little bit more contemporary. We could look back at it now a little bit more wholesome, but. Yeah,
I mean, I really do think that Martin is cinematically literate enough that he will have been thinking about, like, this sort of element. And even the director, like, let's give the actual director a bit of credit here, because Martin wrote the thing and is, of course, our title character, but it's directed by a guy called Mick Jackson, obviously differentiating from Michael at the time. Mick Jackson, we also know as the director of The Bodyguard and Volcano and the Temple Grandin movie. Okay, I'm learning as I look here. It's, I don't know, it's very funny.
It's great.
It's very silly and as I said, slapstick. Richard E. Grant.
He's always great in everything.
Yeah, he's such an odd performer, but he's there.
Oh, I love him. I think he's brilliant.
Okay, there's one maybe missed beat that doesn't hold up now. When he and Sarah are having sex, and Sarah, they give this little animated thought bubble above their head, and she's thinking about Steve Martin.
Yes.
And it goes to him.
So before you say it, so prior to this scene, Steve Martin and Sarah Jessica Parker are in bed together. He's thinking of the other girl that he's in a relationship, and the other girl, and Sarah Jessica Parker is thinking of Mel Gibson. And then it cuts to the other side of the wall, and the girl that Steve Martin wants to be in a relationship with is with her ex-husband, and they're in the middle of intercourse, and she's thinking of Steve Martin, and Richard E. Grant is thinking of Mel Gibson.
Yeah. I think that should have been something different. Like, I get the balancing act or the symmetry of that, but, like, I don't know. In the moment I glanced at it, it was like, what, are we saying he's gay, or are we just saying he's, like, I almost thought it would have been funnier if it was like a self-involvement thing. You know, if it was just himself.
Yeah. If
she was just thinking about herself. I don't know.
I think it was harmless, to be honest. I don't even think they were playing it. To be honest, I don't even think they were playing it gay. I think it was just a gag.
Oh, I agree it was harmless. I just think maybe there was a better gag.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Or a gag that's more timeless, because they use illustrations of these people as well. They're not straight photographs. So, what the fuck? Why are people bothering me? They use illustrations of them as well, so it's like, I'm looking at it going, is that Mel Gibson?
Yeah. There's one or two scenes in it where it's just kind of like, oh, that's a little bit, you know, hairy.
Go on.
But it's just like, you know, you can't look at these things through the same lens as you do now. Times are different. But what are
the scenes?
Oh no, he just seems a little bit like basically like he seems a little bit forceful when he kisses her at one point, and she kind of retaliates and is not really into it, and I think she expresses how she's not into it, you know, and he seems to kind of think like, you know, he's just just loosen up and you know, all this kind of stuff, and it's like,
when is this?
I could give you a timestamp.
Is it when he kisses her in front of the sign?
Yeah, and then I think they're talking to the car afterwards, and then even when, and she kind of says she doesn't want the kiss and stuff, you know, one or two stages, and then they're in a dinner and he's not feeling well and he kind of drags her out of there, and they end up like making out and doing other bits and pieces, but I'm not saying it's problematic because it's very much seems to be like, you know, consensual and mutual on both parts, you know. But it's just you know, I think it would be articulated differently now. You're watching it kind of and it makes it like, oh, but there is a funny line actually. I did remember a funny line where Steve Martin and Sarah Jessica Parker just get to the hotel room, and Steve Martin and her start kind of like, you know, getting hot and heavy, and he stops and goes, "Oh, your breasts feel strange." She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, they're real."
That's a beautiful moment.
Yeah, they're real.
That's because they're real.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh." Yeah, it's so funny. "Oh, your breasts feel weird." It's like they're real. Yeah,
that's such a funny moment and comment on, you know, LA and boob jobs, and I don't know. And like, this pivots us into a side fucking thing. It's just like being a boob guy, a fascination. I always think fascinations, fixations, and fetishes come from lack of availability or you know, inaccessibleness. Right? So like, you remember the Seinfeld episode as well, where they're obsessed with Terry Hatcher's boobs, and it's like, are they real? Aren't they real? And, you know, it becomes a whole thing trying to figure out if Terry Hatcher's boobs are real. And it's like, I was never... Don't get me wrong.
I wasn't breastfed.
Good
so
stuff.
You'd think I would have some sort of obsession with them, but I don't. I have a healthy relationship with them. You can have the best boobies in the world, but if their personality ain't matching, they're no good to me. I have to be in love with the person.
All right, well, I mean, come on, let's not go that far.
That's where I am in my life. I'd hate to be.
That's
I'd
where
hate
you
to
are
be
in your
single
life, is
again.
it? So the first thing you do if you were single, discounting all of the trauma and therapy and whatever the hell else. Don't just go, I'd cry.
No.
First thing you do when you're single. If you were single.
Well,
God, it does not seem that long ago that you were like, oh, I got drunk and paid for a year's subscription to Tinder.
Yeah.
Premium or
yeah,
whatever.
and then I woke up the next day, and I was with, I should preface this with, I was with my friend Danny, and she was very encouraging at the time. And I was just like, yeah, go on Tinder, and it's just like, you know, you can pay for it, blah, blah, and I paid for it. And I woke up the next day, and I was just like, what's that money missing from my account? Apple? What the hell? And then I tried to cancel and get my money back, and I couldn't. And then I had Tinder, and I probably deleted it, I'd say 2 or 3 days afterwards, and came back to it about 7 or 8 months. It was just like, oh yeah, I fucking pay for that thing, you know. But I was wildly unsuccessful on wildly unsuccessful on Tinder. That's fine. It doesn't really bother me. I never got a date out of it. I never really I never got an actual date out of Tinder. I wasn't on it too much now, to be fair. But
yeah, that's the thing. If you're not using
but I
it.
tried. I did try.
What's the first thing you would do if you were single?
Like, just hypothetically, I'd imagine if I was single, it would mean I'd be homeless. So, kind of, as soon as I would get my house and lodging sorted, I'd imagine Emer would get custody of Bjug. We've spoken about it. It's just more practical. She can bring the dog to work. I can't.
Yeah, fair enough.
I would. I will
go in search of LA street signs.
No, oh, well, that would be great. No, I just I try and create some sort of kind of hermit type nest that I could just go in and out of work from, and just completely pour myself into art, and just never, just never really go out anymore. I'd get some sort of pet. I would like to have a pet, and I would like to have some sort of dwelling that was enough for a desk and a bed,
Reversion,
yeah. I don't think I do. I'd absolutely, I think genuinely I'd absolutely abstain from relationships.
Okay.
It would probably take me a number
unlike
of years.
Steve Martin in this instance, who went and bought some white Zika Ricci trousers.
Yeah,
Should I buy those trousers? Those trousers look good.
they look good.
Would those trousers look good on me?
Yeah, I'm sure, buddy. And they did look good. But yeah, I think that's what I do. I at the last, like, me and Emer even made a deal that let's never be single. It sounds miserable.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're just going to be, because we're best friends as well, so we can just stay together in that capacity.
cool.
Should we need to? Should we have to get separate bedrooms?
Right.
We can still be besties.
Okay,
We can just.
it's a good plan.
Yeah. No, I never want to be single again. Sorry.
It's good that you've discussed these
Yeah.
worst case scenarios. If there is a civil war,
Yeah.
which side will you fall on?
Yeah. Do I like California rules or do I like Texas barbecue better? I mean,
You're a barbecue boy.
California is more about art and things, but Texas is more about cowboys and things.
Yeah. Well, don't discount California cowboys. Like, you're talking about a giant swathe of the North American continent. LA and San Francisco are art, but like, there's vineyards and farmland like crazy in California.
Yeah.
And you have Vegas. And you have San Diego. Does San Diego Comic-Con still happen, or did that discontinue?
No, I think it still happens. That was like, I remember learning about San Diego Comic Con, obviously, as a youth, and thinking it was the Mecca, and that's where I want to go.
Go there, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And now I'm so kind of disenfranchised from it.
Yeah, I'm just kind
It's
of
a concept.
But I'm just frustrated I didn't go, like, you know.
In the 90s, yeah.
Yeah, when it was about comics and art and not about good looking people and cosplay and anime.
Yep. Not about influencers.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's loads of conventions out there, just smaller ones that are like rich and fun and pure,
Vibrant.
We've
wondered. Any closing thoughts on LA Story? Because this is why I wasn't jumping straight into LA Story. We keep picking subjects, and it's like we could sit down and have like intensive researched conversations about films, but we come back to the film and then cover it in 15 minutes. Where would you rank this in the Steve Martin canon of films? Like, what's Steve Martin's best film as far as you're concerned?
Steve Martin's best film as far as I'm concerned, I love The Jerk. It's great. I haven't watched it though on donkeys. Three Amigos is brilliant. Father of the Bride.
So Three Amigos and The Jerk. The Jerk is very surreal.
Yeah, I know it's really wild. I remember watching that movie as a kid.
It's almost
like,
a compilation of sketches.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I remember being like, what the fuck is going on here? But it's very funny.
That's why I kind of find it tricky to watch.
Yeah.
Go on.
Three Amigos is great.
Three Amigos.
What's the other one? What was the other one he did? With like Chevy Chase and Martin Short. Not Three Amigos. Is there more of...
I'm gonna pull up the old filmography.
Yeah.
And you can tell me the old filmography. Quickly. Bowfinger.
No, not really my thing. I don't know if I watched it.
You don't know if you watched it or not really your thing?
I don't know. I don't think I liked the look of it at the time. It looked a little bit weird.
Roxanne
I found a bit hard to watch.
Interesting. I don't think it works great. I think he is doing, like, it's Cyrano de Bergerac basically made into a comedy thing. I watched it recently. It's fine. It's again another light, lovely rom-com-y thing with a bit of surrealist concept thrown in. It was one that I watched and was just like, wow, this movie's like, the times have changed, because this movie is just white people. Like, glaringly just white people.
Yeah.
Suddenly you realize there's not that many.
Yeah, that always happens when you Google
Suddenly you realize there's not that many. Taking away writer, taking away producer, just actor. Like, I'm discounting stuff, you know, like I don't give a shit about the Pink Panther movies or Cheaper by the Dozen. I haven't seen Shop Girl. That's him writing again, but I don't know that that's in the sort of I don't think that's in the sort of comedy vein that we come to Steve Martin for. I think that's a little more midlife crisis-y. Bilko, Father of the Bride 2. I'm skipping over things like Mixed Nuts, Leap of Faith, The House Sitter, Grand Canyon, My Blue Heaven, Parenthood, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Planes, Trains, Automobiles. We're into the golden era again.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of?
Trains, Dirty Automobiles, great.
Lonely Guy. Lonely Guy's funny. Man with Two Brains. There's a bunch of great stuff here. So, LA Story out of 10?
LA Story out of 10. I quite enjoyed it. I'd say about 6 or 7.
6 or 7? 6 or 7?
Yeah.
And where would you rank it in the catalogue of Steve Martin movies?
Mid.
What do you think his best movie is?
Well, Trains, Planes and Automobiles.
LA Story, I'm going to say 6. I'm going to say mid also. And I'm going to say that his best film... Oh, that actually is tricky. I think for me, it's going to be Three Amigos. I love Three Amigos.
I'd have to rewatch it, man, yeah.
Very much. But for next week, we are saying... Alright, well, let's do Bilko next week and Bowfinger the week after.
Okay, well, whatever you want.
We're set up. No, like, let's make use of the material.
So what are we watching next week?
Let's go with Bilko. And I will send you an episode of the Phil Silvers show as well. And as Kevin's brain implodes, we bid you adieu from the end of stream.
I have to go to work now.